here, Team Liquid versus Tricked Esport. We've already been talking about it. I love that conversation that you bring that up. It's just like a team just working together. You know, they all have these play styles that might not just work for teams, but if you are willing to work together and make sure you fill each other out and get a team that is just playing on the same level, the results just come in.
Yeah, and it's not really that it's like the superior style of doing it, but it's a great way.
For them.
Exactly, it works perfectly for them.
Yeah.
You were talking a little bit about what we have coming up later on in North America, and one of the things with Team 8, for example, is that you have that one leader. You know,
super
like
micro calling.
Exactly, you have like Glong that just like makes all those moves, and this is actually one of the matches that I'm also really looking forward to observe later, because I gained a lot of respect for Team 8 when they were playing in the Western Clash. They did really well there, and it's going to be a pretty fantastic series against Gale Force, I feel.
I think a lot of people are as well. So let's go ahead and find out what this matchup, though. Team Liquid and Tricked Esports think about the match happening in a few moments.
Our team being incredibly lazy. While I do think that we scrim a lot less than other average teams, I think we make up a lot of it by being just much better than everyone else mechanically. And I think that goes into like, if we can just stable up and not have enough synergy, and I know with Alex's shot calling we can do a lot of work, and that actually will make us all improve a lot as players.
So we luckily won every single match, 7-0, it's a really good result for us. The most challenging one was against Fnatic, I think, and that was expected as well. We dropped 2 maps against Tricked, which was to our surprise. But let's be honest, I think Alex and his team are very good players as well, and they are for sure capable of winning maps against the higher teams as well.
Because Alex's shot calling is really forcing you to work around his mind and learn how to play his games. We are like playing, for example, like for me it's like playing chess with Alex's mind. It's like I know what he's going to do next turn, so I will follow up immediately because I know what he thinks, and that works incredibly well in our team.
Tricked has had a bit of a rough go the first few weeks. This was a team that everyone was hyping up, and then sadly things just didn't work out as everyone anticipated. But this is a team that started to find their steam towards the end of week 5.
Yeah, and it's interesting to just like hear them talk about this, because one of the things when Alex jumped in with Dignitas last year in Europe, one of the things that you could see the first tournament that they played is there was a huge disconnect. And what they just talked about, that you have to follow Alex's mind. This is like the other way of shot calling. You have one guy who kind of dominates everything, which also has a lot of benefits. But you have to understand how he thinks, and there was no better way of putting that than we just saw there. And when Alex actually played for the first time with Dignitas, you could see that exactly that was missing, because Alex would go one direction and was like, okay guys, we go in, and the rest of the team was like, we're backing out, and all of a sudden like he's alone and dies. So once that you have established or know how your leader thinks and what he wants you to do, and you follow that up, then you can have great success. So there's, of course, a lot of responsibility then on that one single person, since basically he's just making all the decisions. But that can work as well. And as you said, they picked up a little bit of momentum, and that could be because of that reason.
Communication is key. We'll see if they can handle it here. Let's go to our first battleground of this matchup. Where are we going? It is going to be Sky Temple, and that will be the choice of Team Liquid. Now, do note, the bans for this matchup in particular will be Brex's Holdout and Tomb of the Spider Queen, so they are no-goes in this best-of-5 series.
Yeah, Sky, another map where we have seen, of course, that at the beginning when you start the game, it's usually all about that second temple phase that you work towards to. You're trying to get mostly a trade between the first temple phase, have one of the 2 temples, and then it's really about when do you take a night camp, when you're just moving down and try to grab the temple, how many globals do you have that you can use in the situation. So the second temple really sets, for me personally, the pace quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's also very interesting to watch Misfits on this battleground. I feel like they're a team that, one, they have incredible aggressive plays. Their KDAs are off the chart as a team. And that's one of those battlegrounds where they seem to really just bring it towards their opponents. We see more Lee Ming than normal from Hasawabs in particular. Darkmok gets to get on his Vala and be an absolute beast. This is one of the battlegrounds that I feel like is played aggressively by Misfits, because they love to get that lead and take that advantage and almost snowball it. Very similar to what you would say in a Blackheart's Bay match.
I'm really curious to see how this series goes, because personally I thought that at the beginning of the season I really had Tricked singled out for one of the teams that would do very well. I was incredibly surprised to see them just like fall this hard. And they have some, on a skill level basis, they have incredibly good players. Eternal is definitely like one of the best melee assassins that we have in Europe, hands down. And yeah, this is a little bit of a... This is basically like their chance to redeem themselves overall, even if they can't pull off a victory against Team Liquid here. Just them showing now how strong they've become. That's something that I really expect from them.
I was so excited to watch Tricked Esports because I know they love their triple warrior lineups. With Arthas getting the slight changes lately, where he's kind of a monster now. I wanted to see Alex the Prodigy on that Arthas, and it looks like we may get that today with the first pick. Now, Team Liquid responds instantly here with the Falstad and the Dahaka.
What it surprises me even more is that Tricked after that response immediately. They didn't even waste a thought on the opponent, just picking up a double global that should enable them to play around their opponent a lot. So Team Liquid with a very strong opening in the draft here. They love to play their globals, as does Fnatic. In this case now they're having Dahaka and Falstad, and Tricked doesn't really care. They wanted the Valla, they wanted the Malfurion. It feels really like both teams are currently getting what they were aiming for.
Yeah, and I like what Team Liquid did in the adjustment. And the last time this series actually happened, Dahaka was given to Tricked Esports often, and that was actually almost the downfall of Team Liquid in that matchup, as they just didn't handle the Dahaka pressure well, particularly on Dragon Shire. So Team Liquid now having Dahaka and Falstad on their side shows that they have adapted to what Tricked Esports ran last time, and they have the Dahaka themselves. Now, bans have popped out, Zarya taken away, as well as the Greymane. Greymane becoming a staple here in Europe.
Oh yeah, Greymane is getting a huge priority right now, as does the Valla, which we have seen so far in every game except the Sky Temple match in between Fnatic and Experts in the last round, if I'm not mistaken.
Pick or ban.
Valla getting high value here. Also, it's not really a surprise that we have Arthas this highly picked by Tricked, because Alex was always the biggest Arthas fan ever. He always wanted the hero to be back in the meta. Now he finally is, and of course he's going in on his boy.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I'm excited to see him on the hero now. But Team Liquid, as you said, they have the globals. So right now they have to also think about how they are trying to get the rest of the damage in. And that's going to be a Gul'dan, plus the Anubarak together with the Dahaka here at the front line. We've seen a lot of Anub. I mean, it's a fantastic hero at this point.
Yep, Anub, Dahaka taking those away. Tricked Esports typically does run double warrior no matter what, and I thought Anubarak would be the next pickup they would move into just to give them that engage and really force fights. So taking that away is a good pickup here for Team Liquid, and now they can just shoe in any support they would like. Over at Tricked Esports, I do want to say I like the adjustment. They prioritized Tychus so much in the first 5 weeks that it was almost to a point where it's like, guys, you got to stop doing this. It's just not working out for you. Now they have their Valla, they have the Malfurion. Valla started to get played a little bit more for them in week 4 and week number 5. So Tricked Esports as a team, they are just starting to chug along. And I'm loving seeing the adaptations. And of course, I just want to give a big shout out to Alex the Prodigy. He's been streaming a lot lately, and he's putting so much time into the game that this team could do nothing but benefit it.
Yeah, personally, I really believe that Alex's stream, when it comes to personal streams, is one of the best that we have right now. Like, he is very critical of himself and will explain a lot of things, even stuff that doesn't really matter in the situation, and you start to realize how meticulously he actually is when it comes to analyzing his opponent's play, his own play, and how critical he is when he approaches this. And yeah, you've been talking about the Tychus, and in this case we have Tychus immediately locked down again, but also ETC. And Arthur's ETC, that's a scary front line to face. That's a lot of lockdown what we're having here.
A lot more damage than we're used to from Esports as well. I was a little bit sad to see the Tychus because I felt like it just, in terms of actual control, they never really pulled it off as well as I wanted to, but they were running it with triple warrior lineups. Now with them having a Valla and a Tychus, maybe they finally had that kill potential that can work out. Whereas Team Liquid is more global controlled here, Tricked Esport has engaged. They have their power slide, they have their Arthur set up for the root, and then they have the potential damage from Tychus and Valla. So a bit of a different draft from Tricked Esport, but I like the alterations.
It's a very strong team fight that they have right now. You have the power slide engaged, you have Arthur's immediately behind it with a quick root. So they have so many tools right now. The Malfurion is also there, the damage output from 2 auto attackers. Against single targets, it doesn't really get much better than that.
And it does not. Now, Team Liquid, of course, can control the battleground. We've talked about it, and we will continue to talk about it here in the HGC until globals get nerfed completely into the ground. Sky Temple is one of those battlegrounds that double global, like Towers of Doom, can be powerful on. You have your rotations. You have Dark Monk most likely on that Dahaka on the top lane, able to show up at any point and help out in the team fight. So drafts in terms of actual fights, I'm okay with either. It comes down to execution.
Yeah, it comes down to how they use the draft. If, for example, Team Liquid is able to play around the opponent at something where they can get an edge, and especially if we have someone like Hazovs, for example, on Falstead, he has huge impact oftentimes with good gusts and can really help his team to disengage. I've seen them really play compositions where he himself on the Falstead just decided over win or loss in the series just because he was able to always make a disengage happen, get a good gust in. So this is really the strength that they have to play, in my personal opinion, because I believe that the team fight that we see for Tricked is going to be very strong.
Well, let's break out the confetti. It's time to get this party started. We're going to Sky Temple. Game number 1. Reminder, this is a best-of-5 series. Team Liquid taking on Tricked Esports.
And with that, we're going to head into game number 1. It is, as already mentioned before, Sky Temple. And starting to the left side of the map, we have, of course, a Team Liquid. Starting here straight up with Norok on the Gul'dan, Hazovs on Falstad, Blumby on the Anubarak, Splendor on Rega, and Darkmok on Dehaka.
To the right in the red, Tricked Esports, currently number 6 in the standings, but looking to improve that, of course, as we move in towards the playoffs. Nape will be on his trademark Malfurion, one that you're seeing very often. His ice blocks have always been key. Alex Aproji on his boy Arthas. Crosby will be on the Tychus. We're going to be having Eternal also showing up here on the Vala. Watch out for those mechanics.
Yeah, and right now we have a 4-man move straight down to the bottom, already granting vision here, as we have a bit of a very bottom lane heavy setup for both of the teams. Yeah, there's the aggression. Okay, this is exactly what Team Liquid was looking for. They know that Trick likes to be aggressive at the start of the game, and they were waiting for that. They were hiding behind the wall to get some extra damage in, and there was not really a lot of damage done to the towers, but the point really is that Trick now all of a sudden starts this with a lot of their heroes losing a fair amount of HP heading into lane.
Makes Malfurion burn a few of those cooldowns, get that mana being burned out as well, and then suddenly you go into the mid game and he might not have his mana set up enough to tap a well early. Things like that can definitely lead up to some odd disadvantages for Tricked Esport. Now Team Liquid starts to clear out in the middle, and they are playing very safe for the moment. Typically, you're not going to see them go for a hard engage unless a Nubrak goes in, and we have our globals fly in to make a potential 1-on-1 become a 3-on-1 almost instantly.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about how Team Liquid is actually an incredibly aggressive team, and just one of the numbers that I want to throw out here is that we have 3 of their players have a KAD that is higher than 7. Whereas if you look at the opponent, Tricked Esports, not a single of them crosses 6. Only 2 of them are in the 5 to 6 range of kills and assists per game, so or per death. So that is a huge difference in stats here, and it kind of shows what you were talking about in the beginning, that Trick was really struggling, especially at the start of the season. So now that's really the moment where they have to sort of show, okay, boys, we are better than this. We are not as bad as we showed to ourselves to be in the last part, because yeah, I was a bit disappointed. They were themselves were disappointed about the performance, and this is really their moment to start that comeback.
Well, now's the time to do that, you know? Middle of the phase 1 here for our teams, and Tricked Esports, this is the time that they have to show up if they're going to. They have 5 weeks to increase their standings and get themselves in a spot where they get the playoffs to potentially go to the mid-season Raw. Now, Rimmer and Crosby will be holding that top lane. There is a bit of a trade. Team Liquid has elected to hold down the middle lane. In fact, they rotated everyone there for a potential gank, and they went on some harassment. Malfurion with the root did prevent Team Liquid from getting any takedowns, but we do have the moment here where our team is getting the trade on, and this is good for Tricked Esport. The longer you can stay even with globals, the better you are.
Yeah, the trade worked out quite nicely. We have also the arrow build on Vala, which is going to pick up, especially after level 7 when you have the repeating arrow. Lumbi is trying to make a bit of a play for Emma, but nice dodge here, and they're starting to go in again. Knappe is already attempting to look if he can follow up a potential power slide, and they are really starting to contest up at the top here. They're trying to get at least a few shots over for themselves. So far not happening, but I like the attempt here. Nice also here with the Haka using his burrow, and they go for Crosby. And good isolation. Team Liquid walks away with the first kill in the game.
Man, that was a great move by Darkmok. Odd spot for Crosby to be in, but it makes sense. You want to try and spread out your damage to where you're not grouped together in case an engage does occur. Oh no, Alex Aproji low on health, it gets dragged. Hasselhoff brings in the damage, and that will be another takedown for Team Liquid.
That was well done. Team Liquid gets the kill at the top lane, and then immediately moving down with the Haka as he sees that Arthas is a bit too far out, and they turn it into a quick 2 versus 1, get the second kill. And that was a great start now for Team Liquid. So they are really pressuring Tricked Esports, and that experience lead that we now see for Team Liquid is already telling the tale, because that could lead us again into dominant second phase of the Temples.
That's why early game picks are something that you are frightened to have happen to you if you're not running the global compositions, because that experience lead can start to get aggressive and almost out of reach for you to fight back with. Right now, it's still doable for Tricked Esport. They have to get 7 and also set up on the next temple phase and also grab the mercenary camps, but it can be done. But you never want to walk into a game and have the tempo set so quickly like Team Liquid has already done.
Yeah, and Team Liquid is currently aiming to break through the wall here. If they can manage that, that would be fantastic for them. There's also no play for the Siege Giants on the side of Tricked Esports yet, just because they cannot go there. There's too much pressure on the bot lane with 4 heroes moving in. Falset has rotated to the top with a global. He can later on then make a move towards the bottom. But finally, Tricked is pushing this back. The level 7 talent helped a lot with this. So once that they picked it up, they were able to move in and pressure Team Liquid back and take the Siege Giants down.
Second temple phase should be spawning soon. If Team Liquid were to grab the mercenary camps, they should be doing it now, but they are being forced to hang out in the bottom lane as Tricked Esports is pushing it in. Trick, though, is losing out some experience. Golden was able to push in the middle, and they're trying to make up for it by grabbing the turret in the bottom left, but that full level disadvantage is going to be hurting here as Blumby sets up in the bush on the left, puts his team in a spot where they can start moving in on the temple phase. I'm watching Arthas. He's still on the top, and he is not rotating, which means if a take gets low, Tricked Esports has no engage, and Rimmer is low.
Yeah, for Liquid, this is looking really good. Remabola is fairly low on his ETC, and we saw a rotation of Fawcett to the bot lane, where Stehaka moved atop, swapped with him, because he's just in a great spot to deal with Arthas, and they need the poke from Hazorps, who, by the way, went into a full auto attack with Secret Weapon on 7. So it was for the longest time really common to see Boomerang so that you have at least some wave clear, especially since he just burst the wag line away. Not the case anymore. And Darkmok and Alex locked in a battle. And once again, it seems like Dehaka this time can't.
Oh! Hasselhoff is going in for it.
No way, Alex.
He's trying to bait him to look at him for a second. Crosby's coming in. Big rotation from Tricked Esports, and they get 2 takedowns.
Okay, that was absolutely fantastic. You have the one-on-one battle happening between Arthas and Dehaka. Arthas is about to lose it, and then all of a sudden gets assistance. They take Dehaka out. Falstad tries to secure the kill, and then he himself also dies. That was incredibly well done by Tricked here, and Team Liquid really aiming for that kill, but they could not pick it up.
Lumby comes in with the burrow charge, 10-9. They're looking for a couple takedowns. Darkmok on the left side going straight from Malfurion. Gets the drag, big, horrified. Crosby dead. 2 members picked off, and Team Liquid answers right back.
Yeah, that's heroic abilities right there. If you don't have your 10, you don't want to go into that fight. I mean, it was forced upon them. It's not like they had a choice here. But yeah, that was too much. The Horrify was absolutely fantastic, forcing them back. They pick up 2 kills. And that is a lot of momentum that they once again have. Yes, the 2 kills against them, they hurt a bit, but they made up for it by getting the double kill and pushing through the wall. I actually thought they would just simply go for the fort as well. I don't really think they needed to retreat here.
They grabbed the fort. Rimmer did hide in the bottom, so maybe Tricked Esports thought ETC was going for a rotation, as he's been sitting here in the bush for a slight amount of time here. Wow, Team Liquid is currently undefeated with Dehaka and Falstad with 11-0, and you can see why. Their coordination has just been on point.
So you can also play around your opponent so easily. You can always pick up experience once that you fall behind and try to get back into the game. If you have both of the globals, it's very difficult for your opponent to counter-soak. ETC with the stage dive, that's a pseudo-global that you can use in these situations, but it's gonna still make it quite tricky. So it's not gonna be easy for Tricked. They got 2 kills already, but so far Liquid is running the show, and just from the structural advantage that they are running here, it seems very much like they are going to pick up 2 forts very soon. That's extra experience then in their hands. It's a dangerous spot that Tricked is in now.
Team Liquid at 13 also has the opportunity to grab Giant Killer. Typically from Hasselhoff, we see a lot of the cooldown talents available for the trait.
Not with this build.
But with this build, I think you just go full Giant Killer. Also, just because you want to get rid of those tanks, Arthas, ETC in particular, just get them away from that Goldan.
Yeah, I mean, if you would not go into Giant Killer, I would actually be shocked. I mean, sometimes when you had the hybrid build, you could make an argument with the Gathering Storm that you're trying to just get that in, or that you're banking this much on this heavily on the Boomerang. But if you go into Secret Weapon, it has to be the case. Stage dive in, although, and immediately the Horrify, trying to make sure that Remabola doesn't get any traction in here. Strafe already used in the back. But so far, Rema is the only one who's really low, but we have Team Liquid starting to walk away here.
Nappy had to use the silence just to keep Rimmer alive. Rimmer's looking for that power slide. He does have it available now, but there's nothing for him to move into. Blumby is going to dive in on Eternal. He's low on health, slowed for the moment, and no one dies, but Team Liquid gains advantage in terms of control. They now have the bottle temple.
The problem for them really was that Remmer ball on the ETC was that low. He was more or less useless at that point. After he stage dived in, the Horrify comes through, they chunk a huge part of his hit points away, and then he's just sitting in the back trying to see, can I make a play here? But he knows, of course, once that he slides in, he's very likely to die. So they were more or less playing a 4 versus 5 at this point and decided just to walk away, give the temple up for now, and that extra talent that Liquid just picked up, of course, is gonna be huge for him. Great cleanse here. Nurok is able to get away. Really well done.
Blumby with the big burrow charge on the back right, hitting 3 members. This is a 4v5 that Team Liquid is turning around. That cleanse that you called out by Splendor was fantastic, but Splendor also going for a big bite here on Rimmer. Is going to knock him off of his mount, and Blumby should help finish this off. There they go. 3 members taken out for Tricked Esport.
Yeah, 3-for-1 trade. Falstad was at the top, and this is bad news for Tricked Esports. Liquid is looking very strong in this first game, and that last fight just showed it again. That cleanse was absolutely on point. Gul'dan ended up dying, granted, but he was able to immediately just like throw out a lot more damage right after that. If that cleanse doesn't come through, they're probably going to lose way more than only 1 hero in this situation.
Yeah, the cleanse allows them to do damage, but 2, it also forces Tricked Esport to dive a little bit further than they wanted to into the fort, which set up the Blumby engage with the burrow charge. That cleanse set everything up. So solid job by Splendor. Team Liquid is sitting by the boss here. Alex Aproji gets engaged on. He's taking boss damage at the same time too. Finally will be able to retreat while Dahaka stays in the top lane getting that experience. But Team Liquid just making sure nothing goes in the way of Tricked Esports. Invading to take out the Giants. Another burrow charge once again.
ETC jumping in. Immediately the Horrify trying to isolate him, but this time Rema is moving away. But the problem is, this is actually like the one part in the game where Tricked has the best chance of coming back into this just because they are fighting on the same talent. And that's why they're trying to fight a fight on the boss now. They know this is going to be spotted, but they're saying we have to force a fight. It's taking a big risk, but they're willing to take that. Up to the top lane, Dahaka is not with them. Dahaka is now starting to move in. Alex is going to fall. The question is, can they get a trade with the boss out of it?
The boss is taken by Tricked Esports. Darkmont comes in for the drag to hit potentially Eternal and grab that bullet. It does miss, so Team Liquid elects to defend here. Had that drag actually connected, Team Liquid may have gotten another takedown and moved in for more aggressive plays.
So let's talk about the situation a little bit. One of the reasons why Tricked was willing to take the fight is because they said, guys, once they get 16, they take it anyways. As soon as they have level 16, they're going to go for the boss, and if we move in at that point, we are running, like we most are likely are going to fall. If they push with the boss, they have potentially even a game-ending opportunity there. So instead, they say, we force a fight on the boss. This is where we are on even talents. It's the one fight we can take. Alex goes very deep, zones the rest, and is willing to sacrifice himself so that his teammates can pick up the boss. They get the boss. It gives them a little bit of damage against the fort at the bot lane and experience. Now they're behind with 16, but boss is on cooldown, so there's no opportunity for Team Liquid to make that big play.
That's a lesson that we can all learn. You're playing to win here, not to slowly lose. So they make that play where they have a small opportunity. It's a hard uphill battle that you have to take, but Tricked Esports identified that, and they went in for the move because of the reasons that you just mentioned.
It's
a lot of us can learn that. Yeah,
it's a really tough call.
It is. It certainly is. HGC is down the bottom. He is going to be able to stage dive in, but 16-14, Team Liquid continues to take their pressure on that top lane, and they will be awarded a keep there on the top right. Big drag comes in. Arthas being focused down. Splendor goes in for the bite. No longer do we have an Arthas here. Darkmok is looking for maybe another engage here. He will burrow forward. Tricked Esports will retreat, but the temple goes to Team Liquid.
The coordination there again. They know that they can get a kill against someone like Arthas. The Horrify comes in. Everybody explodes on Arthas. He's down. HGC moves in a bit too late to change anything here. So we have 2 temples going over to Team Liquid. And just look at the map. They just took out the keep at the top lane. They're now firing with 2 of the temples straight towards the middle and are going to get huge value there too. They are in a fantastic spot. Tricked, on the other hand, they're wrapping around in that middle. They're trying to go in from behind, but the problem is that Crosby is already about to fall, and now it's again a 4 versus 4.
Tricked Esport is looking for something. They are getting nothing here.
Well.
Splendor is being focused down. He's going to use the Ancestral just to make sure that in case he died, something were to be used. He continues to keep running. Can Splendor get away? He even turns around for the auto attack.
That just feels bad. I mean, you can tell that at this point he was just saying like, okay, at least I'm gonna take the dog down, and he doesn't even get that done. That just feels bad.
That's gonna hurt, man.
Yeah, that hurts. And now, of course, we're having Liquid making that play for the core, and they dominate this game. I mean, 13 kills against 3. They use their globals in fantastic fashion as we're used from them. Quick Gust getting away, and that is going to be game number 1 in favor of Team Liquid against Tricked Esports.
Team Liquid up 1-0 over their opponents, and I think there's one word I would put on Team Liquid here. It's comfortable. They look so comfortable in that matchup, and it seems like when they're playing online, man, they don't seem to have any problems. I wish they had that fire at the Western Clash, because the Western Clash, they're a little bit more sporadic, but when you see them in this league format, they just dominate. That's why they're 7-0 right now.
Yeah, they did extremely well in this, and 2 of the kills against them was the situation up at the top where that double kill against them happened, and they still traded evenly in that case, so that was really well done. The globals having a huge impact here. Even at the beginning, what happened after we saw the first 2 kills at the top lane? Dehaka says, boys, I still have my move there. I can go into the bot lane. Hazorps is already poking away at Arthurs, and Dehaka simply moves in, drags him in, they get another kill. So from the get-go, the pressure through the globals was extremely well done. Forced ETC to go also into the stage dive here and try to counter with the pseudo-global, and that never really had the impact that they were hoping for.
Team Liquid just knowing how to push the limits. We'll see if they'll continue to do so in game number 2. We'll be right back with Team Liquid taking on Tricked Esports.
It is said that I hunt alone, wandering these bitter lands, far from civilization. But in truth, I hunt with family. One that I hold close. I protect them, and they protect me. I am Rexar, champion of the Horde, and I never hunt alone.
So, one day I wake up to find that me and my friends are lost. Again! No one said it was your fault, Olaf. But if there's one thing we're good at, it's... getting lost? No, Baylog, we're good at... Now what? Listen, I'm trying to say that if we stick together, there's no obstacles. Oh no! Back up! Oh no! Like I was saying, if we work as a team, the 3 of us, we can accomplish anything!